This is the Handshake Agency Podcast.
All right, thanks for that, Bob.
Sure, Neil.
So we'll get straight into it. Congratulations on this film. I was waiting for this film for months. After watching the trailer, I couldn't tell if it was a thriller, a comedy, an action, or what. And I know you've done some interviews ahead of this, and you said that the director actually said coming into this, he wanted to make an action movie with a dramatic actor who used to do comedy, which makes sense. But as someone who's been
there's more to that, Neil.
Oh, yeah?
Ilya Naishuller, the Russian director of Nobody, said to his agent, I want to make an action movie starring a dramatic actor who used to be a comedian, produced by 8711. He said that qualification. 8711 is the name of a stunt team in Los Angeles and a production company as well. It's the best stunt people in the world. They're the ones who do Deadpool, John Wick, Atomic Blonde, so many great movies. So that was actually one part of his whole request to his agent. And look what we got.
Yeah, well, as a fan, like that sentence makes sense given what you've done with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. But as someone who's been a fan of your comedy for as long as I can remember, I don't like the idea of he used to do comedy. How did that sit with you when you heard it?
Oh, that's okay. I mean, I used to only do comedy. That was true. And I still do comedy. And this movie is funny. And it's just not funny in a diehard way, like where the character is being cute and thinks he's funny, but rather it's funny in an audacious, like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. Oh my God, I can't believe they went that far way. And there's some things that happen that are pretty fucking funny. But my character in it is not being cute. He doesn't think that his situation is kind of funny. He's actually intense and scared and worried and trying desperately to succeed.
Yeah, and this is like, obviously there's always going to be comparisons to John Wick. I've kind of said like John Wick meets Taken, but a little bit funny. Like those scenes where, without giving spoilers, Hutch is trying to get back the kitty cat bracelet. The bus scene, which again, no spoilers, but that is probably the most believable a fight scene you're going to see. And everyone's been in that position where a bunch of dickheads are just in a group and you just want to do something, but for the most part, you don't. How important was it to make that relatable and believable when you're doing a big action film?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that this movie goes to like big, giant places with the Russian mob and a bunch of killers coming after me. But it starts from like really believable tensions and frustrations of life, the couple who are getting a little tired of each other, the break-in where the dad grabs a golf club and doesn't do anything, which is the right thing to do, but feels like he didn't do enough. And the teenage son who's like, Dad, you're a wimp. You didn't do anything. All these things are, even losing the kitty cat bracelet or not being able to find it and wanting so badly to find that thing for your daughter, that stupid little thing that your kid loves that you can't find. And you're like tearing your hair out going, where's the goddamn kitty cat bracelet? As you fish through the couch or behind the seat of the car. These are all kind of relatable things, but blown up into movie land. That was all really important to me. I wanted to play a lead character that was as relatable as possible. A lot of the action leads of the last 15 years, and they're great. I love Jason Bourne, but to a great extent, Jason Bourne is on an autopilot. Even he doesn't know that he has these skills. It's sort of like, it's a great conceit and it's a fun movie. I love him. But, he clicks into action gear and he's kind of a robot that kills. But I wanted to play somebody who, when he punches somebody, it hurts his hand. And when he gets hit, he's bleeding and it doesn't just hurt for a second. It keeps hurting. And so, yeah, relatability was really what I thought I could contribute to this genre.
Yeah, and surprisingly, you've said before that filming this film was similar to when you were doing things on SNL, Mr. Show. Is that because of having to make it as believable as possible? So when you hear cut, you kind of do fall in a heap of laughing because that's what the whole point is. It's believable.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the way in which for me it was similar to those shows. What I discovered is that action sequences are sort of like comedy sketches, right? They're controlled, they're a short length of time. If you do them well, they tell a little story. There's kind of a journey that you go on. There are surprises along the way. If you saw the bus fight, I don't want to spoil it, but a great thing happens in the middle and the character could just go home. He doesn't have to keep fighting, but he has an option to leave. And I don't want to wreck it for you, but there's a little story that you tell in like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, it's just like a comedy sketch. So there's this great feeling of reward when you finish a sequence, just like a comedy sketch.
Yeah. And obviously you've trained for this for 2 years. Are you more than happy now to go back to doing the smaller dramatic films and comedy, or are you now going to apply to be the next James Bond?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I would love to do more action, and I do continue to train because it's good for you, and I find it interesting, and it's kind of become a part of my life now. And I would love to do another action film. My favorite action film is Police Story, Jackie Chan, and Jackie directed that, and it's got a real cute, funny, likable sense of humor throughout, even in the fights. Nobody is kind of cold-blooded, brutal fighting. And again, you laugh, but you laugh at the audaciousness of it. Whereas in Jackie Chan, he'll do a move that makes you smile. And I want to do that. So if I get to do more action, I'm going to try to do a movie that has that Jackie Chan smile in the fighting.
Right. And I imagine moving on now, it's at least for the next couple of months, your priority will be Better Call Saul, right?
Yes, absolutely. We're shooting the final season and it's monumental.
All right. And Bob, we can't wait. Thank you so much for coming on. Good luck with it. Everyone needs to see this film. Thanks again, man.
Thanks, Neil.
Neil Griffiths is a podcast from the Handshake Agency Network, produced by Neil Griffiths, recorded and engineered by Zig Parker, executive producer Craig Treweek.